Hey guys, I'm Abby. Welcome back to my channel. Today in this video we are going to be working on a new quilt. It's going to be a large quilt. I think the finished measurements are going to be 77 or 72 by 72. So it's bigger than a lap quilt, which is what I've been doing lately. So we got a lot of work ahead of us, but I'm really excited to work on these. A while ago I ordered a layer cake from a local designer who made fabrics with Moda, and so I got that in and I have a pattern, and I just finished getting back from the store and I bought all the extra fabric so I can complete this project. The local artist is called Alli. I will try to link her Instagram down below, but she is local here in Dallas. I think she actually graduated high school with my sister. That's how I found her Instagram, is because my sister knows her and actually did the design work for my sister's logo for her pattern company, pattern writing and stuff. So she recently did fabrics, and there's a whole line with Moda, and I just got the layer cake because I really like all the different fabrics and seeing them all. So I ordered it, and now I'm just finally having time to work on it. But I will show you guys the pattern that I picked and then the fabrics to go with it. So here is the layer cake that I did order. You can see she does a lot of florals, but all this is in black, white, and gray, which is what she does a lot. She's really great. All of the fabrics are in black, white, and gray and have florals on them. They're really pretty, and she designed all these. And if you do go look at her Instagram or her website, you can see all the other things that she has done and designed. Like I said, she did my sister's logo, but she's also done murals, and she has art prints you can buy and blankets and I think wallpaper and stuff. So if you like this, you can definitely check out her website. I'll link it down below. But yeah, she's a local artist that my sister knows. So I bought her fabric, and then I picked out this pattern mostly because it is layer cake friendly, and I thought it was really cute. But it's called Picket. You can see kind of the design, but I thought it would look really good with the black and white. But I'm doing the largest one, which is the 72 by 72. I thought about doing the lap, but I've been doing lap sizes for the last few projects, so I thought I'd go a little bit bigger. Plus this way I can use more of the different fabrics from the layer cake. One of the reasons I got the layer cake is because I loved too many of the fabrics. I couldn't choose one or two, so I wanted to see a lot of them. So this allows me to use a lot of the different fabrics and see them, but still a lot to do on the quilt. But I had to go buy the extra fabrics, and these are the fabrics that I got. So you can see I got this matching, or another black and white fabric. This is not the same line, but I think it goes very well with it. And this is actually going to be my back, so it's not going to be, you're not going to see these two together. So this is the backing fabric that I'm going to use. I think it just went well and I really liked it. But on this pattern, it has these white kind of spaces in between, and for that I have this kind of taupey color. I did look for a gray to match, but I couldn't find one I liked enough to match these, so I decided to go with another neutral that still looked good with all the different colors. And so this is a taupey brownish gray, and I think it looks well with all the different ones in here, but not being too matchy or too contrasting. And then as you can see, they have three different colors, so I wanted to add some color in here too, and then I decided to go with pink. But I got this light blush pink, and I think it goes very well with the taupe and the black and white. Of course, the black and white of the actual fabrics and the grays, so I think it matches well. And that of course is going to be the background border and stuff. So that is the fabrics that I picked out for this quilt and this pattern. So now we can get started on them. have my pre-cutting done. Even my strips for my binding I cut and put with the extra fabric over there. But there were two things I kind of didn't like about this pattern. Usually in patterns they'll tell you like cut your fabric into this many strips and then cut those strips down into this many squares or rectangles or whatever. But this one, it literally just gives you how many squares of this size. So I mean, it's not hard to do, but I had to like calculate like how many strips do I need for 64 squares, which is just annoying. Like usually patterns will tell you this many strips to cut down into this many squares. So like it says 64 3-inch squares, like usually it'll say cut, you know, cut 5 3-inch strips and then cut those into 64 3-inch squares. So I had to just calculate that myself, which isn't hard, but it's annoying. It would have taken a little less time if they already give me that. But then the second thing, what is with this pattern asking for like 1/16 of an inch squares? And I'm like, these are so small. You know, my mat and my ruler only go to 1/8 of an inch. So I had to like line them up and like slightly move them over to get these, and I was like, it probably would have worked out still even if you like added that 1/16 or subtracted that 1/16 of an inch. I don't think it would have ruined the quilt so much. Like, do you really need to go down to 1/16 inches for these squares? They took me forever to cut, and they're like hard to, you know, cut in order because they're like counting by 1/16 of an inch to get where you need. So those two things of this pattern I really didn't like, but I did get all the cutting done. So now I can start sewing and bringing this quilt together. Hopefully it won't take too long, but it might take some time since it is a larger quilt. But yeah, we'll see how the sewing goes. Now that I've seen like the beginning of this pattern, I'm like, there might be some really weird parts of it. We'll just have to wait and see. Looking at the cover, it doesn't seem like it would be weird, but so far with the cutting sizes and way they describe it, it's already been a little strange. But now we can start piecing this quilt together. So I have the first few blocks done. It was weird sewing like these smaller squares onto these larger squares, but it wasn't too hard to figure out. And so these are the ones that are going to go on point, and then they're going to be cut like this way. So it's understandable why they put these smaller squares so you don't waste as much fabric. But yeah, I have the first few done. They're looking really good. I like the colors all together. I still have to do like the corner and the side pieces, which are basically looking like this, just not all three pieces or all three rows. And then I have to do the larger squares, but it's coming together. I don't know if I will actually do this pattern ever again because it's just weird. I mean, it's turning out fine, but it is a weird pattern with the cutting and now like with the odd sewing pieces, but I think it will look good in the end. So we're gonna get started working on those, which are just different variations of this block, and then I have to cut these to make them square. Okay, so now I have all of my blocks done. I just have to cut them all, you know, into their corners, like across here. These are my corner pieces. I did this gray fabric for all of them, and then the side pieces are mostly white and then a few grays, and then those main blocks are all the blacks plus like the darkest gray there was. So hopefully this looks all right when I put it all together, but I have to cut these and then start on the next blocks, which are the like circle ones which is just putting corners on all of these that I cut earlier. So I'm gonna get started on that. So I have all of my main blocks done. We have like the turn pieces, the main like large circle pieces, and like the sides and the corners. So now I can really start putting them together in the rows here. You can see this is like the main center of the quilt. Still have to do like the border pieces and they call it the fencing pieces, but I mean, we can really start putting the quilt together. Since this is the largest one, I got the most rows. So I think I'm gonna lay it out on the floor first to see how I like it and kind of test where pieces are, because you know I have like full on black ones and grays and whites, so within all these, so I need to lay it out and see how I like the setup of each, kind of play around with it. I do this with basically any quilt. But yeah, that's the next step. Got a lot done. But this quilt has been not hard, but it's very weird. Thank goodness I really like the colors and this fabric by Alli. I really like her designs and they're cute. So I'm excited to see how it turns out, but I don't think I'll be making this pattern again. But you know, it's good to try it out once and see how you like it, because I think it will look good in the end. I really like the design. It's just not the best to make. So yeah, I'll get started laying those out on the floor. Alright, so I have tested out a few layouts for my quilt, but I haven't settled on one yet. I have to kind of rearrange them a couple more times to really get how I want this pattern to go with these blocks, you know, just making sure it looks alright and too many blocks of like the same pattern, even if they're different colors, aren't too close together. But I had to pick it up and pack it away because I'm heading down to my sister's place for a week, and luckily, you know, she's the one who actually designs patterns and quilts also. So I'm gonna take my projects, a couple projects down with me to work on there. I'm gonna be helping her with some of her projects. But yeah, I just have like this little plastic container, so I put all my blocks in there and all my other fabric and the pattern. So I'm going to take that down there and kind of hopefully she can help me with the layout of this and deciding how to put it. But yeah, you won't see, the next clip will probably be me while I'm there trying to figure out how to lay this out. There's just some layouts I liked. It's just like this was too close to another half moon or moon pattern, and so I just need to mess with it a little more. But I have some other projects I'm going to take with me, but hopefully this will be one of the ones I finish while down there. And so yeah, you'll see me working in a different room. She has like a big quilting space down there, so it's nice because I don't have to like take my machine or anything like that. I can take this and that's all I need because she has everything else. I am excited because while I'm down there, I'm going to be helping her. She's developing her next like pattern she's going to release, and so I get to help her with that. Also, just like with organization of her fabric and stuff, I'm going to help her with. So it's going to be a fun week with some sewing mixed in, but I'm, you know, just excited to go see her and her family. So yeah, I guess the next clip will be working on this while down there in South Texas. this is the layout that I'm gonna go with. We have most pieces not touching similar colors, at least. Their patterns may be same, but they're different shades, so it was kind of unavoidable to not stick patterns next to each other. But I really like this layout. I tried a different couple ones, but my sister helped me pick this one, and I think this is what we're gonna go with. So now we just have to start sewing the rows together, and I have to cut out these little triangles that go in that square, but this is what I'm going with for this quilt. So I have the whole centerpiece sewn together. So now I just have to work on the border pieces, and they call it picket fence. So next I just have to like make the borders with this little white squares. Mine will be beige, but basically the whole border of the outside. But got the big pieces worked out, and now I just have to work on the last bit, and this quilt will be done. And I have all the pieces cut out already, so I just have to sew them together and make little lines for the border like this. So I have my little picket fence borders done. I just have to sew these on, and then I have a solid background border to add, and then the top will be done. So getting really close. I just have to, I just have to do these major border sews, and then this quilt will be done and ready to go to the quilter. Let's finish this off. So I have my whole top done. I have my picket fence on, and then my just background border finished off. And so this quilt top is done. I just have to do the binding, and I can give it to my quilter, which is my mom. But yeah, I've been calling this my black and white quilt, but it's definitely turned out a lot more pink, which I'm totally happy about. I really like how it looks. I'm not a I love how it looks, but I'm not a super fan of this like actual pattern. Just the cutting and the way she made the blocks, it was just weird. But I'm really glad I got to use it for this layer cake that I got. That's Alli and Moda black and white layer cake. I really love how it turned out with this taupe and the pink that I picked to go with it. It was my first time doing a layer cake quilt, but I was telling my sister the other day, this is my third on point quilt to do in like a couple months, and so now I'm gonna take a break from them because I'm sick of them. But yeah, I'm really glad to have this quilt done. It's my largest top I've ever done. Usually I've been doing like lap sizes, and this is a large size. It's a little bigger than a lap. It's I think 72 by 72 I think are the dimensions, so it's the biggest quilt I've done so far. But I wouldn't say the difficult parts were because it was so big, mostly because of, I don't know, just the weird things of the pattern, but it wasn't too bad overall. But I'm glad to have this done, and I can give it to my mom. This is the second quilt I finished today, so it's been a very productive, great day sewing. But now I have to get ready for dinner and pack up these quilts to take to my mom. But that is it for this vlog. It was over a long period of time. It didn't feel that long to me, but I hope you guys enjoyed this and liked this quilt. I hope to be working a lot on more of my garments in the next few weeks, so maybe not as many quilts. I think the next one I might do might be the one that my sister releases. I think she will release it in August, so that's probably the next quilt I will do. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.